For most of her life, Doris Day was known as Hollywood's happiest face. She was the woman who always smiled, sang, and made everything look perfect. Fans believed she lived a dream life of sunshine and que sera. But behind the bright image was a painful secret she never talked about. Now, Doris Day's grandson is finally speaking out, revealing a truth that was kept buried for years. Royal Time of Hollywood explores the darkness behind the smile of America's sweetheart. A star born from tragedy, Doris Day was born Doris Mary Ann Kappelhoff in 1922 in Cincinnati. Her path to stardom wasn't paved with luck, but with pain. At 14, a horrific train accident crushed her legs, ending her dreams of becoming a professional dancer. Confined to a bed for over a year, she turned to the radio, discovering a voice that would eventually captivate the world. By 15, she was singing in small venues, eventually catching the eye of bandleader Barney Rapp, who gave her the stage name Doris Day. Her breakthrough came in 1945 with Sentimental Journey, a song that became the anthem for soldiers returning from World War II. But as her voice soared on the charts, her private life was already descending into a nightmare. The Secret Life of Terror. The world saw a bubbly blonde, but the reality was a history of domestic terror. At just 17, Doris married musician Al Jordan. Almost immediately, the marriage collapsed into brutal violence. Jordan's jealousy was pathological. He beat her in hotel rooms and, when she became pregnant, demanded she get an illegal abortion. When she refused, he assaulted her so severely she nearly lost the baby. The most terrifying moment occurred late in her pregnancy when Jordan drove her to a secluded spot with a gun, intending to kill her, their unborn child, and himself. Doris survived only by talking him down with a preternatural calm. She escaped that marriage, but the cycle of pain didn't end there. Her second marriage to George Weidler lasted only 8 months. He couldn't handle living in her shadow. The ultimate betrayal. Martin Melcher. In 1951, Doris married Martin Melcher, believing she had finally found the stability she craved. For 17 years, she trusted him completely. It wasn't until his sudden death in 1968 that the devastating truth was revealed. Melcher and his business partner had systematically drained her fortune. Doris discovered that the equivalent of $150 million in today's money was gone. She was buried in debt and, to her horror, found that Melcher had signed her up for a television series without her knowledge. Forced into the Doris Day Show to pay off her debts, she smiled for the cameras while grieving the ultimate betrayal by the man she loved. The grandson's heartbreaking revelation. The most recent layer of the secret came to light just one day after Doris passed away in 2019. Her only grandson, Ryan Melcher, revealed that he had been estranged from his legendary grandmother for 14 years. Most shockingly, he didn't learn of her death from family, but from social media. Ryan claims the estrangement was orchestrated by Doris's business manager, Bob Bashara. Following the death of Ryan's father, Terry Melcher, Doris had invited Ryan to dinner to reconnect. However, Ryan alleges that Bashara intervened, telling him he was not allowed to see her and questioning his intentions. Ryan described his grandmother's final years as being lived behind gates and security, effectively isolated from her own flesh and blood. While Doris's publicist disputed this, suggesting the estrangement was a mutual misunderstanding, the sadness remains. A woman who spent her life advocating for the voiceless through her animal foundation was, in her own final years, seemingly cut off from her own family tree. A legacy of resilience. In her later years, Doris retreated to an 11-acre ranch in Carmel, California. She traded the spotlights of Hollywood for the company of dozens of stray dogs. She declined public honors and lived simply, finding more peace with animals than she ever did with the men in her life. Doris Day's secret wasn't just about the abuse or the lost millions. It was the fact that Hollywood's happiest woman was its most resilient survivor. She used her final years to spare millions of animals from suffering, proving that even a heart broken by betrayal can still find a way to love. Royal Time of Hollywood wants to know, do you think Doris Day's isolation in her final years was a choice for privacy, Or was she kept away from her family against her will? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you were moved by the true story of this Hollywood legend, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you never miss another deep dive into the lives of the stars.